Hello, everybody. It's Sunday early morning, and we were invited for International Design Jury in Czech Republic Design School. And we are supposed to introduce ourselves as a jury. So we are now trying to do it somehow. Yeah, exactly. So, speaking about myself, I would describe myself as a person that is skipping around the different disciplines. And I'm artist, but I work between architecture, design, and performative researches. I try to link all of these disciplines. I use oversized sculptures to integrate people around various spaces to bring them together, and then to co-design spaces together with them. It's often very playful and long-term. I design long-term processes mostly. So this is about me, and I'm also curious actually.
We are a design studio based in Stuttgart with more than 15 years experience in designing industrial products. We design products in very different scales, so from something like this to something like this, and also in a larger scale, like something like this. And we also do scenographies or exhibition projects.
Can you show it? Can you
Not, no.
Okay. Okay. I was studying, among others, I was studying fashion design. So I often sew objects that I'm designing. And if I want to make a sculpture in 7 meters long, for example, I use my machine. And I will show you in a moment how the final effect is. But let's say I sew. Do you see this? This is like a puppet that later on I made paper drawings, and I oversized them to the size of a very huge object. And I also show you like very often, because I'm not patient and it's a super fast tool. I use warm glue or hot glue and just cardboard to make oversized sculptures like this. It's not very impressive, honestly, I know, but it's very quick for me to do it and to check if it's like, if it's possible to make it real. So I first do like this, then there are visuals and stuff like that for companies that are producing the objects. And maybe I show you those two that I just presented. I will show you how they look in real. Yeah, so as I was showing the little hedgehog in a moment ago, then the final effect is like you see on the picture, which is like a oversized public space toy that helps me in like bringing people together and working on larger process to do other activities with the people, and could design then spaces with them, like this backyard that you see that is very with the big necessary of rebuilding and reparation. We are discussing what they want to do there and what they want to change. But this is just like the pictures that you see. They are just from the first part of the process, for example, right? So processes like this, they mostly dure, I don't know, like 3-4 years in a way. And also I will go back to the horse that you saw, the paper horse a moment ago, a cardboard one. So then I work also with the carpenters that get the object I showed you, and then they get visuals and they produce a ready-made horse like this, that is also used in the space as a part, as an art object that people can interact with. They can enter the horse, and it's like a larger, also larger complicated process, but I'm not going to explain the meaning and the curatorial aspects of it. Just I wanted to show you the object and how I make the, you know, like what design tools I use, as there was
The
on
final product is made out of wood, or what is it?
Yeah, it's a plywood actually.
Ah, okay.
It's like plywood glued one to another. You know, it's when you see it like this. But in my project, the final product is it's not the object, but it's a recreation of public space. So it's like a new park or a new backyard or stuff like that. These objects are just to impact people, to get to know each other, and then to start the designing process with them, you know, like architectural one. So these objects are, they can be treated as separate objects and art pieces, but they are just actually to impact the people, to later on work with them on recreation of a place that they should recreate somehow, right? So this is just, you know, just the beginning of the process. Okay, so now, do you see me? I would like to ask you one thing.
Favorite. At the moment, I'm listening very much to No Twist. It's a Bavarian band. And when I started to make my own music, this was one of the first concerts I went to. And I think they make very nice 3D sounds. So when you listen to an album more often, you experience much more things to this album. And yeah, at the moment, I'm very much into this band.
Okay. Okay, Space Ballet, you mean my project that I developed a few years ago?
Yeah, I've seen on your website.
Yeah, it's actually it's interesting because you are from Stuttgart, and the project is it was inspired by Oskar Schlemmer, one of Bauhaus creators. And when I saw his costumes and the ballet that he made, I got very inspired how to use this for performative research in public space. And I started researches and exercises with my students. And we were doing kind of sociological researches about exact spaces with people, to ask them what kind of like what they would like to change in spaces that we appeared. And I will show you the costumes I made inspired by Schlemmer, because I think they are it's better to show them than to describe. And I used costumes to change people in bricks, and I wanted symbolically to show that people can be also material for building spaces, you know, so it was kind of symbolical. Wow. Yeah. And I show you how we made it. It was actually the project was made in Berlin. We were just blocking people with these bricks. Wait, I can just show one picture, and I want to show more. Wait a moment. Okay, so here you see how people were building the costumes, and how we were closed in bricks blocking people. They had to answer us questions, otherwise they wouldn't be let out, and they could build and construct from us the answers. And this is also, we tried many steps, you know, how to move in performative way to block these people. There were many different people that were building from us. And yeah, sometimes it was more chaotic, sometimes it was like more like this, as you see that here it's more regular. And yeah, we were just walking around this space like this, but it was very in a dancing way. We even constructed our own music, and we got very interesting answers from people that were actually ready-made later for starting architectural works apart on some public spaces. Okay, I think maybe this is the answer for your paper. I have another one here.
Often when we design objects, many of our concepts start with a drawing, and I really like using like a simple pen or something like this, very yeah, only one color, only black, and very thin lines. And then when we start from a drawing, there's something I like these kind of sketchbooks, and yeah, that we have something you can start with your proportions and on a piece of paper, very simple. And afterwards we also jump into a model stage, as you showed before. So we use cardboard and very simple materials to make a first mock-up to get more impressions of the proportions. And then later on we jump into a 3D printer, or like more realistic materials like plastic or metal, depends on the project. And yeah, that's how we normally start.
Mm-hmm. This is good. Yeah, because I mostly do one piece for one project. You know, I don't do product design. I make more interactive sculptures that are used in particular space. They are site specific, and I think their value is that they exist only in one piece. So I try not to make them, not to multiply them. Sometimes if I make object like very oversized object as a sculpture, I do little toys that are like significant for it as well, you know. So with the horse that you saw a moment ago, I'm traveling now with the horse around different spaces that are with colonial buildings, as colonial monuments as well. We put them in front always to discuss this colonialism and stuff. But also people will be able to download paper, like cardboard surface in the internet. They can make their own little horse and set it somewhere in the space they like. So this is more how I make products out of it. But I don't think it's exactly like a product in the way you do. So
mostly done in very specific this area, or when you go to another area, you change the size of the horse or something?
No. It's like always the horse is just one. You know, if we made this piece, it's only one sculpture like this, and it can travel around spaces. But the big horse is only one. But sometimes I make like cardboard toys for people that they can, you know, they can make the toys. They cannot make a big horse as well, you know, like, I mean, they can, but I do not design it this way, you know. I design it more as one piece sculptures rather.
It's very tough to say to reduce it to one object. Of course, as designers, we're often object related. We have many objects we like, but I'm really a fan of these kind of camping cutlery. So these kind of things, cutlery you can take with you when you travel. And I like, for instance, this one. It's a very simple one made of aluminium. You can take apart, and like the middle part, how you connect all these objects is in here. And then you have three very nice objects, very functional, perfect, and lightweight. And I think it's a really good example of an object you like, because you can take it with you. And it's very.
What's the most necessary object for you? If you what is the first that come to your mind now?
At the moment, I think it's a mask at the moment in these times. So it's a paper mask, unfortunately. But that's the object I have to think about the most, because I often forget it. So it's very necessary at the moment.
Yeah. Favorite sound. I have to admit, I like the sound of my dog that you already were able to hear, because anytime I have my Zooms now, he's interrupting, and somehow, you know, like it was always annoying me, but now if he's silent, I think something happens to him. So I just got used to barking of my dog in pandemia times, and I feel weird when it's quiet. But I also like the sound of tapping water from the pot, you know, and kind of sounds that are not obvious, and they don't have to be necessarily music, but they can be sounds that can just open your imagination. This is what I like with objects. With sounds. And I have here question.
I think in our work we often do this more the serial products. I'm really big fan of making a product not only one time, but several times, and to make it ready for a series. And of course there's many. We have this two kind of projects. So when we make more interior projects, I think it's a one-off. It's made for the space, very typical. But when we have this kind of serial products, you have all these discussions in advance and all this dialogue with the company. And then you really have to think about all these possibilities that can happen with a serial product. And you don't know exactly who's the user of your product. I think that's a big difference between sometimes the one-off piece and the serial product. In the one-off piece, you really know who will interact with your product. But in a serial product, you produce it and it's international shipped, and it's to end up everywhere. You don't know who is the user. And I think I like both kind of briefings, but we are more, I think, into this serial products at the moment.
Do you, when you design, do you make things that you would like to use as well for yourself somehow? Do you design for yourself?
Of course, yeah. I think so, yeah, of course. Because I'm only one user, but of course I really like to get to know more about the user who will use my products. And of course I really try to imagine what could be kind of use case, but this is only one opinion. And of course, when you have a product, there are many use cases, and so there are many possibilities with this, I think. Okay, so next question to you. How about this word?
Well, My mother always say that I'm daltonic, so you know, we always argue about colors. But I think I always think deeply about colors of installations I make, especially of those that I made out of fabric, and as I was studying also fashion design, I always try to make objects and sculptures as pieces of, I don't know, like clothes in a way. So I really like to use very strong, vivid colors. But I use always like, I don't know, 3 of them in one object that are very smoothly moving one from another, you know, like you saw in Hedgehog object. There are 3 colors actually. There is not just one. It looks like pink, but it's like there are 3 colors that are very close to each other. And I had once I made a gray 7-meter long bear, the cuddly, and it's very gray and it fits this socialistic blocks, you know, like when it sits somewhere, when I put it somewhere in the space, it looks like very sadly gray. But I also designed it this way, like very specifically, you know, to make it gray. And I remember there were a lot of comments in the internet that people were saying why it cannot be like, I don't know, like orange or yellow, or why it's so sad, you know. And I wanted to show to fit it to the space somehow. So, you know, like I always think about colors deeply in a way. And
yeah, your objects often have like one surface has one color, or like maybe one side has one color. It's a very simple color code sometimes, or that you don't
I
paint
like
on
it.
the surface.
Yeah, and always, and also, this is, I don't like graphics on it, you know, like I
Yeah,
like when it's combined with colors, but the surface is like one piece is one color. I don't know. Important in if it's animal, because I often make animalistic shapes. Important is to how the eyes look like and how they are attached, you know, and I always try to put them black and white, big, and you know, like from cartoons, because I think somehow eyes are making the soul of the object, like, you know. But the rest I always try, I don't want it to be graphically designed. I want it to be just designed by shape, you know. How I construct my objects, they are actually made from I also don't like when they are very smooth. I like when they are from geometrical objects, you know. I always like think, okay, triangle, what we can do out of triangle. And then I'm like thinking, you know, like or I don't know, okay, now I want to match I don't know, like I have 3 shapes and I try to do something out of them, you know, to make it like super simple. But then, so when you see it, you see some shape of something schematic for you that brings you to with memories somewhere, you know. I don't like to, also it's because I don't use 3D modeling for you know, like for designing. I use handmade stuff, so it's much more difficult to make it more complicated. I like it I like to make it super simple, you know, like in case of wait, I will just bring it back here with the hedgehog. He's just combined from, like, you know, many triangles that you have here, and they are just attached to you see, it's like, you know, and when you combine them all together, it's schematically look like a hedgehog. But I like the shape, how it's made, and also I like how it behaves. And also it's you know, like when you make it when you multiply some shape, it's also good for people to play with it, because they can also construct different things out of it. So, I think it's a good time to ask you the same question.
Okay. Yeah, most of our objects, yeah, like in an industrial project, it depends on often the material you choose. So when you have like a plastic material, it's also depends on how many molds you have and what kind of color you can have in the end, because when you have a product separated in one mold with 3 pieces, these 3 pieces can't be like 3 different colors, so they always have the same color at the end. But at the moment we made some switches for musicians, and these kind of switches we choose the colors of architect Le Corbusier, his colors, and I think it's very nice to see that a color scheme from the 50s is still working nowadays, because they're really still very modern colors. And yeah, but I think it always depends on the often on the material you choose. So from plastic to metal to wood, I think it's often has some limitations in the color code.
Mhm. Mm.
What could this be?
I'm a bit, I'm a bit big child. I have soul of big child, and I really like to collect toys of designers from 50s or 60s. And I have I don't know, this elephant. It's made by Ladisław Sutnar from Czech Republic, actually, and this is like it's a new one. It's not the original one, actually. You know, like how it's made, but it's a toy. You can, you know, like it has wheels and it has a moving head, and it's made out of wood. So it's super cool, and it's not only about the object. I like the idea, you know, and I like the how somehow the fairy tale you have in this object. This is just one, but I also have, I don't know, the camel of him. He also made other animals like this that could run. But I also love toys like Libuše Niklova was making.
Oh.
Actually, I'm a big fan, and this is for people from Czech Republic. I'm a big fan of people of toys from Czech Republic. It was also made. It's, you know, it's like this sound is also nice. My dog is coming. So you know, it's like it's you can play with it, but also it was used from pipes that were to, like, you know, they were
ready-made.
supposed to be recycled. Yeah, so it's a nice way of recycling things, you know, in toys. And I also really like the shape and the design of it, you know, and mixing of colors. And you see it's like made just also made out of 2 surfaces. It's like just this one, you just connect 2 of them, you know. Also here, just the head is different. So it was like all of this of Sutnar and Niklova, they were made by like with simple shapes. So these objects, they are like super nice for me because they inspire me in a way, you know, and they are just nice to have them in the house. So I think it's cool. I have one paper here. Maybe this.
Scale, whoa. Yeah, well, when we talk about scale, I think it's often very similar when you have like a small product, and for instance, like a cereal product that has a very small scale, and you have a kind of graphic on it, and even in a small scale, you have many details to solve, because you see it very directly. It's very honest when you touch it with your hands, when you can take it, like as an elephant you showed. I think all these details, how you connect the parts, is very important. And when you have like a project in a bigger scale, like a exhibition project, I think there are the details have to take into consideration in a different way, because when you see something with distance of 4 meters, there are other details that count. And I think it's very important how human related these objects are, so how close you are. So I think it's a difference when you see your horse in a very small scale you showed me in this cardboard scale, and in the end when it's on a very big space and it's standing there, and it's yeah, I think how you can work with details, it's on a completely different level.
And were you designing this things when you were showing your favorite object? Was it made by you, the spoon and the fork?
Cutlery thing, this one?
Yeah.
No. It's a very old one from the 50s, I think. It's a German made, and no, it wasn't made by me.
And if you make like objects that you use for for living, do you think sometimes to make them a little bit too big or a little bit too small, with the scale? Do you play with scale?
To disturb the user, yeah, it's that's interesting. I think once we made a cutlery set and for children, and of course the scale even there is much smaller than a normal cutlery set, because in the end you have like the human mouse, or you have some definitions that you really have to take into consideration when you design this kind of product. And I think every kind of use case has a very a special definitions of scale. So I think even nowadays, when you have like a computer, everybody expects a kind of scale from this kind of computer, because you already know what a modern computer should look like. This kind of defines the scale, I think. And when you make an object that is completely out of these kind of scales, yeah, it's some people get really annoying of your product, I think. But I think it's an interesting question, because it's something really in between you and me from our point of view. And because you do many things that have a very, very big scale. So let's give this question back to you.
Okay, yeah, if I think we already spoke about that before, that if I'm supposed to make object for use, I would always try to do it, like a little bit too small or a little bit too big, to make people feel uncomfortable, and then to think about like objects they use every day in everyday life. And that's why also I make I like big objects, and I like to play with scale. I normally don't minimalize things. I always make them in bigger scale. Sometimes I'm laughing that I just have problem with scale, and always if I try to make something just enough big, it's even bigger, so it's always a problem. But no, but actually it's always exactly in this space how it should be. And I use this scale to so the people look at reality in different way. It's sometimes I oversize typical toys, like with the horse that you saw, the wooden one, because there are existing these typical toys, like the horse that you can swing on. But I wanted to put it in the space in front of very serious monument of man on the horse, and I wanted to put it there to be more playful, and to put symbolically the public space more vivid, and made it for everybody, not only for the the person that exactly was put from iron on the horse. So I think it's also very welcoming for people when they see that in space, and when they see it takes them out from a routine of their life. It's like also those objects that I used to do inflated, like the hedgehog. That they were just they were getting crazy, on their way to work or to school. They were meeting something like this, and they didn't know what to do, so they were just behaving spontaneously without thinking. They were jumping on it or taking it somewhere. And now I try to change the size into even bigger. But so if I design the backyard together with people, that the backyard where the hedgehog appeared, now the backyard is also from the bird perspective. It looks like urban, like in urban perspective, it looks like a hedgehog, you know, when you step on it, right? So I changed the scale also in different senses. But I think this is, you know, by changing the size for a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, or maybe not even little bit, but like much bigger, then you just change reality and the perception of space for people. So this is what I use in my projects, and what actually works to involve them and to make them think somehow, you know. So then in this way it's more artistic than just simple design, you know, like not simple, but you know, like the product is.
The scale is very important. When you overscale it, the people more participate with the object, or?
Yes, because I think if I
normal toy, maybe you can go besides, but when you overscale the object, it's really, yeah, you have to participate with it, or?
Yeah, it has to somehow shock and somehow just surprise them, you know, to make them to make this attention for them, and to make their daily routine just switched, you know, like that's I think this is important. But also it's just, you know, like the way it works for me. I also think that it fits the space, because it's not only about the size actually, but it's also about how it's used. And I don't know, I also plan, it's not only the size, but also interactions. I design interactions of object. You know, it's like the hedgehog was made from 30 triangles. So they were separately people could attach them every day. They could pump it, like, you know, one by one, and they could attach it by themselves to the bottom. So it was also involving them for collaboration, for example. And I also made a sausage dog of 10 meters long, something like that. That was like its belly was cut in half. So because it was, you know, people were saying that at the backyard that we put it, that many people were just cutting the road way back home, you know. So they wanted to close those people in the belly of the sausage dog, so they understand to walk with the pots, not with the grass, you know, on the backyard. So it's like I get information shortly from people, and then I also, it's not only about scale, but also about interactivity of objects that I design. Is it time for my paper or your paper?
Maybe. I think it's up to you now.
Maybe I give the question because I speak too much.
I read all the papers, I think.
Wait, yeah, no, I don't know which papers now I used and which I'm lost here with papers. Wait, maybe this one here.
Paper Pong. That was a project we started a few years ago. I really like sometimes when you have an amateur and a professional player close to each other in the ping pong game, because I like really having both kind of groups together. When you have only amateurs, sometimes it becomes boring. When you have only professional, it becomes a bit boring. And so I really like to have a join of these two groups. And we started the first matches in very small groups, and the people had to use sheet paper and only a very simple connection way. First they glued it, and but later on we end up with a staple machine. And you have to make your own racket with 5 pieces of sheet paper, and then you have to battle against each other in a ping pong match. That was like a starting point for the paper pong match, and we had the chance to do it with USM Halle, a furniture company. When they made a creative workshop, we were involved in it and could make a match on a larger scale, which was very nice. And it's always very nice to see how people use these kind of folding techniques differently, and that some people have really, really effective ways of folding paper. I'm completely astonished when I see the results all the time. And it's a nice battle of, yeah, these kind of professional meets amateur, I think. Do you have more sheets left? I don't have any.
You don't have? Okay. Yeah, I have. I have. Yeah, I have this one as well.
That one, okay. And that was a project we did last year. Let me share some pictures. It was an exhibition project for Hölderlin. We did it together with Ina Bauer. And the assignment wasn't to make an exhibition for Hölderlin in the Hölderlin year, 250 years Hölderlin. And it's in a new building here in Stuttgart, in a state library. And we had, like, of course, many books to exhibit. And the idea, we had to make the furniture for this project and or the scenography. And we used, as you see here, like a very large curtain, which is like 4 to 6 meters high, to make the projections in that room. And we choose to use a material for this curtain that is recyclable. So in the end, when you tear down the exhibition, when it's finished, we can send the curtain back to a company. And this company, it's really, they produce sheet material, this one, from textile. So we can send the curtain to the company, and then we get back a sheet material where we can produce like a piece of furniture from. So all the furnitures you see here, the white ones, we made out of this kind of textile material. And I'm very much interested in this kind of circle economy, and where we can use a material and then bring it back into another state and then reuse the material. And the advantage was, when we use this kind of material, here you see the setup of the different walls. And here you see some details of these furniture pieces. When we use these materials, we could use still the possibilities of textile, which means when you have this kind of sheet material, you can really fold this material as textile. So you can cut it, and then later on you fold it. And so the idea was to produce all these kind of furniture pieces at the carpenter's workshop, and then send it to the exhibition, and then put it together directly on the exhibition site. And then we invented kind of inventor and kind of connector to put together all these pieces. And this connector you can see in here to connect the sheet material. And this was like a kind of first mock-up of the chair we designed. And then here's some details how the connection works. And then you can put through all the cables through these kind of furniture pieces. And an audio station. Yeah. Yeah, that was this kind of project.
Okay, so I have another extra question. Can I give it?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I have this one here. It's on the other side, but wait, like this. Do you see?
Yeah, let me think about. It's not very easy in these times. I'm not sure if we can plan something, but as soon as possible, I would say.
I can send you a costume that can make you invisible in the on the border, you know.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
And also come to Stuttgart, of course.
Yeah, with the horse, this for sure. I already applied, you know.
I show you the house of Oskar Schlemmer.
Yeah. I would love to, actually, you know. This is really nice idea. Okay, so what now?
I think we're done now.
Okay. So thanks everybody for their attention if they were listening to us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was nice having a digital dialogue with you.
Yeah, also with you.
Next time, see you personally.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Bye bye.